kill me!
Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today some more Call of Duty Black Ops 3 playing the beta in this week's episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions, and I do best go and answer them. The cover on the gameplay, again we're playing the Black Ops 3 beta, but I feel as though this should probably be the last week of Dear Nero that we actually show Black Ops 3 footage, because you look at Dear Nero, right, it's usually a 30-minute episode give or take, and you look at your average Call of Duty match, depending on the game mode, can usually last anywhere from 5 to 12 minutes. So therefore, we usually have 3 to 5 full gameplays in every episode of Dear Nero, and if I put all that footage in there, it's like I'm really running out of Black Ops 3 footage, and that's supposed to last me all the way until November. So maybe for like next week's Dear Nero and like the episodes of Dear Nero going forward, we'll go back to Advanced Warfare, we'll go back to maybe doing zombies, maybe try some other games I've never actually posted on the channel before. Maybe Heroes of the Storm is a game I recently started playing. I also started playing Diablo 3, but I don't know, I don't think Diablo 3 is a very good spectator experience. It's really just run around pew pew and gather loot, whereas Heroes of the Storm's a MOBA game similar to League of Legends. Maybe people like that. Maybe we'll stick to just Advanced Warfare. Maybe we'll go play Exo Zombies or Black Ops 2 Zombies or Custom Zombies, or we'll have to see. But yeah, I definitely think we should cut back a little bit on the gameplay of Black Ops 3 here for Dear Nero, considering Dear Nero is usually such a long episode, and it's going to be even longer if I continue going on here with this intro. So let's hop in here to the questions, as I'm sure that is the reason why you guys are all here, is to hear the questions that are sent in for this week and my answers to them. The first question, which is a question I'm sure is actually on a lot of your minds, he's going to write, Dear Nero, my school is starting today, if this of course is actually on Dear Nero, and I will be a junior in high school. So keep in mind, if you guys don't live in America, a junior in high school is usually 16 to 17. It's not, it's the year before your final year of secondary school, basically. And to go on with the rest of the question, he says, so anyway, I was wondering, what is your favorite thing to come back to at school when summer ended? Fisher from Washington. And of course, Fisher knows that I'm 23 years old, so I've been out of high school for quite some time. But my favorite thing about school, like going back like a whole new school year, was the sense of renewal that there was, right? There was like this, there's a clean slate when you go back to school after the end of summer. And of course, it kind of stinks that summer's over, right? Because like your vacation essentially is over. You now have to go back to actually doing stuff. At least that's what it was like when you're younger. You know, you're 13, 14, 15, 16. Most people don't have part-time jobs by that point. I know some of you guys probably do, but a lot of people don't even have jobs at that point. Basically, the summer vacation is just that. It's a vacation. It's for hanging out with friends, playing video games, staying up late, watching movies, going and doing stuff, right? Enjoying the summer. So it stinks the summer's gone, but at the same time, it's kind of nice to like go back to school. I always kind of enjoyed going back because you get all these new clothes, right? You gotta get new clothes for the school year. You have a brand new year of school. You get to find out where your new locker is, and you get to go to your new classes, and everything's fresh. Like it's like starting a new character in a video game. You know, all your grades are completely fresh, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna have the best grades ever this year. And then by the time you hit the second semester, most people are kind of over that. Or at least I was. Like every year, the first semester was always amazing for me. It's like, yeah, 90s and everything, and then after that, it's like I'm tired of trying so hard. So I would always end up just doing worse, which I don't advise to all of you. I want you guys to try hard every single year, get the best grades you can, get a nice education. I definitely want you guys to all go ahead and do that. But that was always my favorite part about going back to school, was like that clean slate that you have. You know, you got your new clothes, you got, yeah, you're gonna meet new people that are coming to your school, you got new teachers, everything's new, everything's fresh, and it's definitely fun. Of course, that wears off a little bit over time, but at the same time, it's still very, very nice while it's happening. And of course, it's fall. You got football season. I played football in high school, so I had a football season to play and look forward to. Then, of course, the NFL season. And my birthday is in November. Then new Call of Duty comes out in November. Then after November comes Christmas. And after that comes New Year's. Like, it's a very cool time of the year. And so I always loved it going back to school. I always thought it was a pretty cool time of the year. Next question. He is going to write, Dear Nero, what maps do you hope to be remade in Black Ops 3? I would love for Terminal to be remade. Also, what is your favorite cookie? Mine are macadamia nut cookies. They're perfect in my opinion. Thank you and have a great day/night. Sincerely, Green Jose from Fort Worth, Texas. So Green Jose is actually a very talented artist. He actually draws a lot of fan art for me on Twitter, and I retweet all of it. You guys want to go ahead and check it out, go to my Twitter page, right? And then from my Twitter page, you can go to my favorites section, which I'm not like those people on Twitter that favorites like literally everything that's ever sent to me. Like I have like less than 100 favorites, and all of them are just really cool cool, either really hilarious tweets that are just hilarious, like the recent tweet that Madden sent over to the Seattle Seahawks. That was hilarious. That's my most recent one. But aside from that, I have a lot of fan art in there. If you guys want to check out stuff that people have actually sent to me, and Green Jose sends in some really cool stuff on Twitter, so definitely go ahead and give him a look. But what maps would I like to see remade in Black Ops 3? You say Terminal. I think Terminal would be a good one, although I think it's unlikely because we're yet to see kind of like this cross development map recreations, right? So basically, Infinity Ward remakes Infinity Ward maps, Treyarch remakes Treyarch maps. Now, Sledgehammer, since they did work with Infinity Ward on Modern Warfare 3, the remakes that they did have were that of Call of Duty 4 maps. That's something to keep in mind as well. But Treyarch traditionally has never taken an Infinity Ward map and brought into their game, and Infinity Ward's never taken a Treyarch map and brought into their game. If they were to do it, I think Terminal would be a good choice because I always thought Terminal was a fantastic map. A lot of the maps from Modern Warfare 2 were very good, although I was going to say, like, High Rise has always been a favorite that people wanted to get remade, but of course we got that with Skyrise here in Advanced Warfare. So the maps I would like to see remade in Black Ops 3, my #1 map of all time, always has been, always will be CeeLo, right? I love CeeLo from World at War. It's my favorite map of all time, the biggest map in Call of Duty history. And just think, how cool would it be to do the wall run on the little bridges, on the train bridges? I just think that'd be pretty cool. So I would love for that to be remade. Chances of that happening, pretty slim to none. I don't think they're ever going to bring back CeeLo in one way or another. But aside from that, I would take some of the better maps from Black Ops 2. You look at Raid, right? I think a lot of people liked Raid. Standoff, that's a fantastic map as well. Those are two maps I think in particular that people would love to see come back in Black Ops 3. And chances are they probably will. We do know that they're going to be bringing back Nuketown, right? We do know that that's going to be coming back, and they're going to be revamping it to work with the new movement system, the basic, the new jumping that we essentially have, and the wall running that we can do. So they changed it around a little bit, but it's probably going to still feel a lot like Nuketown. I feel as though they could do the same thing with some of the more traditional Call of Duty maps. Maybe they'll bring back Firing Range for a second time. They brought it back, of course, in Black Ops 2 as the map studio. They could definitely do that again in Black Ops 3 if they would like to. But yeah, just some of the more popular Treyarch maps. Nuketown, which we already know we're getting back. Firing Range, I would not be opposed to. Summit, again, which are, again, they already remade that. I wouldn't be opposed to that either. And then looking at some of the original, just great maps that we had in Black Ops 2, like Raid and Standoff, for example, I think those would be pretty cool maps to actually bring back. And for whatever reason, I'm thinking of Express right now, right? The one with the train. I'm thinking of that map. I never really cared for it much when Black Ops 2 was actually out, but something about it now, like in my memory, like that would work well for some reason. Like I picture being able to do something cool with the train that comes by. I think that would be pretty interesting. But yeah, just some of the better maps from Black Ops 2 I'd like to see remade, and honestly, we're probably going to get that. If history is any indicator, like if you look back at what happened during Black Ops 2 with their DLC, chances are we're going to get a map remake just about every time a DLC comes out. So probably we're going to get maybe 4 different remake maps. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, those are some of the maps I would like to see remade, and I can almost all but guarantee that we're going to be getting some remakes when Black Ops 3 actually releases some of its DLC. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, when do you plan on doing the Advanced Warfare report card? I'm curious to see a professional COD player's opinion on such an outlandish, albeit good Call of Duty from Draconian. So Draconian, first and foremost, I wouldn't consider myself to be a professional Call of Duty player, right? I am a commentator, I am a video creator, a content creator, a YouTuber, I am a pundit. But I am not a professional Call of Duty player. I do not play Call of Duty professionally. Like, I don't go to tournaments. I don't earn money based upon how well I do at Call of Duty tournaments and stuff like that. There's definitely a line to be drawn there, but one comparison somebody made to me a long time ago, which it's definitely just made so much sense in my head that any idea that I had that maybe YouTubers could be considered to be professional gamers because they play video games, they put that stuff up on YouTube, and then bam, suddenly they're professional gamers. Somebody once said to me, Nero, if somebody records themselves playing golf and puts a video of it up on YouTube and they're a partner channel, does that make them a professional golfer? And I thought to myself, no, professional golfer is somebody that goes to golfing events and wins them and earns money based on how well he does at those events, similar to a professional Call of Duty player, right? Or any guy that goes professional in any form of esports. So yeah, I wouldn't consider myself to be a professional Call of Duty player. I would consider myself to be a professional YouTuber, a professional pundit, a professional commentator, things like that. But definitely not a professional player by no means. I mean, have you seen my gameplay? No, I'm not a professional player. But when's the Advanced Warfare report card going to be coming out? I think we're going to do the second part of it in October, kind of just before we actually get the release of Black Ops 3. Now, if you guys aren't aware, I did do a mid-year report card for Advanced Warfare. If you guys want to get my general opinions on like the maps and the guns and the score streaks and the movement system and just all the changes, and I kind of give them ratings like the American schooling system, like A, B, C, D, and F. Like I give them all ratings and stuff like that. If you guys want to check out a video like that, there already is one. Just type in NerosCinema report card. It is the first video that pops up. But yeah, we did kind of like a mid-year report card for Advanced Warfare, and I'm going to do a final report card for Advanced Warfare, but that's probably going to be coming out in October, just before November, winter, of course. Black Ops 3 will be making its full release. Next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, do you think that Black Ops 3 would have its advanced movement if Advanced Warfare did not exist? Love your videos. Keep up the great work. Scott from England. So Scott, that's definitely a question of what came first, the chicken or the egg, and I really can't tell you. Of course, none of us know this, but I can guarantee you this. Now, keep in mind, this is all just my opinion. This is all just my assumptions. I'm just assuming all this. I can't prove any of it, but I feel as though all of the studios, right? You look at Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer. I feel as though they're all intertwined in more ways than one. They of course have the Activision umbrella above them, and I feel as though they all work together. I feel as though there's a lot of communication going between studios so that the games kind of take ideas from each other, and maybe, let's say for example, there's a feature in Infinity Ward's last game that Treyarch really liked, and maybe people over there at Infinity Ward that send over the code and stuff like that, making it easier for Treyarch to implement that feature into their game. I feel as though these guys work together a lot more than we give them credit for. I bet you that Treyarch knew about Advanced Warfare before Advanced Warfare came out. I bet that Treyarch knew, as a developer for Call of Duty, that Sledgehammer was making Advanced Warfare. I bet when talking about their game to Treyarch, they mentioned, hey, we're going to have exosuits in this game. We are changing up the movement system completely. It's going to be way different than any other Call of Duty game that we've ever seen before this. And I can almost guarantee you that from there, they thought to themselves, yeah, we should probably change up the movement system. That'd be kind of a neat idea. Or perhaps Activision, the higher ups, maybe they said, yeah, let's change up this movement system. I want every new game. I want the new game coming from Sledgehammer, the new one from Treyarch, and the new one from Infinity Ward to change up the movement system in one way or another and see what sticks. You know, see if we can actually change up the Call of Duty franchise a little bit as compared to just, you know, changing up the maps and the kill streaks and the guns every single year and changing around a few other things. Of course, every Call of Duty feels different, but they still stay true to the same formula every year as compared to when they first started changing up the movement system. That definitely changes things around a whole lot. I feel as though, yes, Black Ops 3 would have a changed movement system. Let's say, for example, they never hired in Sledgehammer Games to make Advanced Warfare. They never hired them. It was still the year by year going between Infinity Ward and Treyarch. I still feel as though Treyarch would have tried to change up the movement system because they got a lot of influence from a lot of other games. You can definitely see there was a lot of influence in Black Ops 3 from Titanfall and from Destiny. You definitely saw that. And so I feel as though they would change up the movement system pretty soon, but maybe, now that I think about it, yeah, maybe they wouldn't have changed it necessarily in Black Ops 3 if they were still doing that yearly cycle, because Black Ops 3 would have came out in place of Advanced Warfare. So yeah, Black Ops 3 itself would have came out last year if in this hypothetical scenario where Sledgehammer doesn't exist and they didn't make Advanced Warfare. So it would have came out last year, so probably wouldn't have had a new movement system, but the next Treyarch game, I bet probably would have had a new movement system, just taking inspiration from Titanfall, maybe Titanfall 2, which is supposed to be coming out. We haven't learned too much about that, and taking inspiration from Destiny, I bet you they would have had a new movement system in their next game. So yeah, I definitely think it's definitely a case of like which one came first, the chicken or the egg, but I definitely think that, yeah, Treyarch would have had a new movement system involved in their new game at some point, because it just seems like the logical thing to do with a franchise as old as Call of Duty. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, since Advanced Warfare added free DLC guns, do you think that Treyarch will do the same thing and add free DLC weapons and camos to Black Ops 3? And if so, how do you think that we will earn them since there are no supply drops in Black Ops 3? Keep up the great work, Nero, from Brandon in Virginia. So Brandon, I do think that we are going to see free DLC weapons, or quote-unquote free DLC weapons in Black Ops 3 in one way or another. How they did it in Advanced Warfare, as I'm sure you guys are well aware, we just got the AK-47, the Cell 3, and the M16, was they already had in place the supply drop system. They put in these weapons, and all they essentially had to do was make the weapons and put them in the loot pool of these supply drops, thus making it so people have a chance to get these weapons from supply drops and advanced supply drops, thus trying to kind of convince us, hey, you should probably buy some more advanced supply drops if you want to have a chance at actually earning some of these weapons, which of course we know is not exactly a great thing. You know, I bought over 50 50 advanced supply drops in a recent video of mine and ended up getting one AK-47 and one M16. I'm still yet to get the STG-44, which is another free weapon they added. I'm still yet to get the Cell 3 cauterizer, right? So it's definitely all complete RNG, all complete chance. And so that's how they do it. That's why it's quote-unquote free DLC. But Treyarch isn't doing what Sledgehammer did. They're not having supply drops. There's not going to be weapon variants in their game. So if they were to add DLC weapons, how would they go about doing that? I feel as though at some point they're just going to throw us a bone. I think partway through they might just be like, because they definitely saw the success of it here with Advanced Warfare, they're probably just going to say, hey, here's an old school weapon, you know, here's a Tommy gun, right? Here is an AK-74U, here is whatever. They're just going to give us like a random weapon, I think, partway through the game's life cycle as kind of a show of good faith, right? Like, hey, we love you guys, here, have a free weapon. And I feel as though a lot of the DLCs are also going to be coming with weapons in them. I think that's something we're going to be seeing a lot more in Call of Duty, is we're going to be seeing a lot more weapon DLC coming with the DLC packs. Not only are we going to be getting, you know, 3 maps and a map remake and new zombie map, but they'll probably throw in a new weapon in there as well, or something along those lines. I think that's something they could do. But they could probably go even further with it. They could go all out with this. I think it would be interesting if they had like weapons that were available to you in Black Ops 3 via doing ridiculous challenges. So an example here. You look at the Tommy gun, one of my favorite weapons in Call of Duty. It was featured in World at War, right? It was a pretty cool gun. And what if they made it so if you got 1,500 kills, you know, it's honestly not that much if you really think about it in the grand scheme of things. If you get 1,500 kills with submachine guns in Black Ops 3, and this counts over all of your prestiges, not just one prestige, then you unlock the Tommy gun. You know, how cool would that be? And they had like maybe 1 or 2 weapons like that for every single category. Let's say, for example, you know, think of some other classic ones like the FAMAS from Black Ops. While it was ridiculously OP, a lot of people like the FAMAS from Black Ops 1. So let's say, for example, if you get 1,500 kills with assault rifles in Black Ops 3, you can have that. You know, it's in the game. You're not going to unlock it by leveling up. You unlock it by actually continuing to play the game. I think that's what Call of Duty wants to continue to try to do. They want to give us more incentive to actually continue to play the game, because the more you play the game, the more you're going to buy cosmetic DLC in the form of weapon camos, the more you're going to buy actual DLC in the form of map packs, and weapon DLC in the form of, you know, weapon DLC. So I think they're going to do a lot more things to try and get us to continue playing their game, aside from just getting us to buy the game initially and getting the $60 from that. I think they're going to continue to want to add in more and more content, and that's what DLC is there for, to try and keep us playing the game. I think a good way to do that is to have gated challenges like that, where you kind of have to wait a long time to actually unlock something. When you do, it's going to be something pretty cool. I had a similar idea a while back. I mentioned this, it might have been on an episode of Dear Nero. Take the idea that Hearthstone did, because I think this is just a really cool system. In Hearthstone, it's a free-to-play card game by Blizzard. I'm sure you guys have at least seen videos of it, or at least heard of it, or probably even played it, because it's a free-to-play game. How they do it is every season, if you get up to rank 20, which is very easy to get to rank 20, you basically have to play 2 or 3 games to get to rank 20. But every season, if you make it up to rank 20, you earn a special card back every single season. And once that season's over, that card back goes away. So an idea is like, let's say, for example, every month, they give you a brand new weapon camo that's free if you put in 10 hours of playtime into Black Ops 3 that month. And then let's say, for example, in November, if you put in 10 hours of playtime in November, you unlock this special November camo. And then once November is over, if you didn't put in your 10 hours of playtime, that camo basically disappears for everybody else. Like, if you don't already have it, you're not going to be able to earn it again. The people that have it. The people that don't have it will never be able to get that camo again. Little things like that. These are things I see in other video games. I think that we could start seeing in Call of Duty. I think it'd be cool if we were to unlock special weapons based upon doing different kinds of challenges. You know, maybe we can get a really cool shotgun like we already know that the Remington 870 is probably in Black Ops 3, as it was leaked via the PC data mining that we saw from the beta. So I'm trying to think of a different shotgun that might be pretty interesting, like the double barrel shotgun from World at War. We haven't seen a double barrel in Call of Duty in ages. What if you were to get, you know, 500 hipfire kills with a shotgun, or 1,000 hipfire kills with a shotgun, and that weapon unlocks? Have it just be a secret weapon. You know, you can actually have it there, so you can like go to an entire category and look at these different special weapons that are unlocked via these ridiculous challenges, and have them just be additional weapons in the game. It gives players the incentive to continue to want to play the game, because they want to unlock these new weapons, and those new weapons, of course, will have their own attachments and all this stuff. It'll be fun. I think that'd be a really cool thing for them to do. Of course, they haven't announced anything like that. It's just an idea that I have. But yeah, that's something that they could do. And I like how all of this spawned, like this entire little theory craft I'm giving you guys right here, just spawned from a simple question of, do you think there's going to be DLC weapons in Black Ops 3? I think there will be, and I think there will be some free ones, but I think we're also going to get a lot of them via DLC itself. I feel as though it wouldn't be too outlandish to say that every DLC pack, which we can probably expect 4 DLC packs to come out for Black Ops 3, I don't think it'd be too outlandish to say that every single one of them will come with a DLC weapon, and then maybe they'll still also throw in another DLC weapon or two as a piece of free DLC, like a gesture of goodwill, something like that. I don't think that'd be too outlandish to say either. Next question, he's going to rate, Dear Nero, I've always found it difficult to do well in Call of Duty. I rarely ever go positive, but in other first-person shooters like Titanfall and Battlefield, I excel. Do you think that Call of Duty is just not the game for me, or do I need to change my playstyle? Daniel from the United States. Daniel, it's definitely difficult to transition between games. I have the same problem, whereas I'm pretty good in Call of Duty, but then I go to a new shooter game, and I'm like, how come I'm not amazing at this right away like I was at Call of Duty? You know, it's every game I feel as though, and this is not just for first-person shooters, but for all games in general, I think people are going to be naturally good at some games, and other games are not going to naturally pick up on, similar to a lot of things in life. The very first question for this week's Dear Nero was talking about going back to school. In school, I was ridiculously good at English and writing. That just something about that, it came naturally to me, as well as history class. I loved it because I was very interested in it, and I have a good memory, and I was able to keep track of this kind of stuff, and I also had a legitimate interest in it as well. But then stuff like math and science, I was really bad at those because I didn't have an interest in them. They didn't naturally come to me. Like, I wasn't able to remember equations or formulas very, very well. I wasn't able, or even very interested in stuff that we would learn in like physical science classes or biology or things like that. Like, I was never good at that stuff either. So I think people are naturally good at some things and naturally not as good at some other things. And maybe games like Titanfall and Battlefield, which I'd say Titanfall and Battlefield are pretty similar games. They're both made by EA, or at least published by EA, and they both have some similarities there. They're definitely very different than Call of Duty. Perhaps that style of game is your kind of game, and Call of Duty is not going to come to you as naturally. It's not to say that you can't be good at it. Of course, if you put in time, you can be good at anything. But maybe it is, like you said, maybe just not your game, something you're not going to naturally pick up on. Maybe it's something you're going to have to work at a little bit harder as compared to Titanfall and Battlefield, where maybe you picked up on it pretty easily. Does that make sense? Like, maybe those are games that you were just naturally good at, but Call of Duty, for whatever reason, it's just not something you're naturally good at, and it's going to require a bit more work and a bit more dedication to actually get a little bit better at. Whereas I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I had to work a lot harder in Titanfall and Battlefield to do better, whereas Call of Duty, I kind of picked up on it pretty naturally. And I can feel my voice going here. I've been doing so many videos today. I recorded like 2 hours worth of Madden. I did some more Advanced Warfare playthroughs, stuff from my Let's Play channel. Here I am with Dear Nero. I can feel my voice going. But Daniel, I wish you all the best. If you want to get good at Call of Duty, it just takes time. Just like anything, just like any game, just like, again, anything. If you want to get better at it, just put some more time into it, and you will become better at it if you would like to. But you say you already excel in Titanfall and Battlefield, so maybe hang out on those games and just continue whooping people. But if getting good at Call of Duty is something you would like to do, there is no shortage of good and informative videos here on YouTube, both here on my channel as well as other channels that can help you kind of accelerate that learning curve a little bit. Next question, he is going to rate, Dear Nero, what do you think the next Infinity Ward game is going to be? I personally want a Modern Warfare 4 because I think the Modern Warfare story is the best by far in the franchise. Tanvir from Ontario, Canada. So Tanvir, I've never actually seen that name before. I wonder if that's like your birth name or maybe that's like your online name. I don't know. I've never seen that name before. But I get this question a lot, and I think I've answered it a few times as well. But I think that the next Infinity Ward game is going to be Ghost 2. If you played the Ghost campaign, you saw the ending without spoiling anything, it clearly sets you up for a Ghost 2. It's all but like putting big flashing letters on your screen saying, yes, there's going to be a Ghost 2. Like, it's very obvious there's going to be another one. And I can definitely see Infinity Ward going along those lines because the end of Modern Warfare 3, again, with no spoilers, kind of really solidified the franchise, the trilogy, if you will, from going from Call of Duty 4 to Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3, right? So I would love, just like you, I would love for them to make a Modern Warfare 4. I like that universe. I like that style of game a bit more than what we saw in Call of Duty Ghosts, but I can almost guarantee Call of Duty Ghosts is going to be the next game. But of course, nothing is set in stone. The game is not yet announced. In fact, Black Ops 3 hasn't actually even made its full release yet. So there's definitely a lot of time for things to change, lots of times for announcements and stuff to come out. But yeah, I'm pretty positive it's going to be a Ghost 2, although, like you, I wish it would be a Modern Warfare 4. Next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, I wonder what you would think about a game mode where you do not have kill streaks like a team deathmatch on the future Call of Duty games. Isaiah from Oklahoma. Isaiah, that's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea, but when I read your question initially, the first thing that popped to mind was a lot of the gimmick-style game modes they've added to Call of Duty over the years, and how a lot of them have just kind of failed. Like, who remembers the bare bones playlist, right? Initially, they would have these bare bones playlists where there were no kill streaks, and people didn't enjoy them. There were some other playlists where there was, like, no kill streaks, but there was also no attachments. Some people played it, but overwhelmingly, if you look at the player count, people just kind of ignored those playlists. There was other playlists, I think it was in the original Black Ops, where it would give you no attachments, and it would change all of your kill streaks to 357, because for years, ever since Modern Warfare 2 came out, and then of course going into Black Ops, people were like, we want 357 back, we don't like your customization when it comes to kill streaks, we want UAV, airstrike, and helicopter like Call of Duty 4, which I can see the appeal, but god, it's so boring. Like, you'll never hear me say that was a better system than all the customization that we've gotten for kill streaks ever since Modern Warfare 2. That stuff is way better, right? It's way better having a lot more kill streaks to choose from, high kill streaks, being able to customize that stuff. It's obviously way better, but people wanted to go back to 357, so they gave us that playlist, and for whatever reason also took away attachments, in that playlist, and people played it for a bit, but overwhelmingly it failed pretty quick. It flopped pretty quick, and eventually got to a point where there was maybe 100 or 200 people playing that playlist as compared to the hundreds of thousands that were playing in the other playlists, right? So anytime they've tried to do a special playlist, like even Advanced Warfare, you look at the non-EXO playlist, like the classic playlist in Advanced Warfare, just people aren't playing that. And of course, we can't see the player count, but you look in there, you try searching for a game, it takes a while to get into a game, and when you do get into a game, if you back out of that lobby, it's going to throw you into the same lobby because there's so few lobbies to actually choose from. There's just not a lot of people playing in that particular playlist. The gimmicky style playlist where they try removing or stripping down the game, they never seem to excel. So for Black Ops 3, like if they were to have something like no specialists as a playlist or no kill streaks as a playlist, while sure, give it to us. If the more options, the better, but I doubt they're going to dedicate the resources and the time to do something like that. Next question, he is going to rate Dear Nero. As a longtime subscriber, I've noticed a massive, and keep in mind he has caps here, so massive change in your commentary. Over the last 2 years or so, it seems like every video you put out, you sound more energetic and it seems to be much smoother. What do you attribute this change to, and have you noticed it yourself? Anthony from Los Angeles. Anthony, I'd say it's just I'm getting better at making videos and getting better at commentating, I suppose, as compared to what I was at, 3 years ago when I first started. Now, right now, it's a bit different. I can feel my voice just going, and it's actually starting to hurt a little bit to speak, to be honest, but I would definitely say that I've gotten better at it, just like anything in life. If you do something every single day for 3 years, you're going to get pretty good at it, or at least better than what you were when you started. And I like to think that every single day I get a little bit better than what I was the day before, and hopefully I continue with that. Hopefully I never plateau with my videos, where my videos, I never stop being better, because I try to make my videos better than the day before. Every time I make a Dear Nero, I hope it's a better Dear Nero than the week before. I always try to improve. I think that's a mindset we should all have for just about every aspect of life. But yeah, I would say I'm getting better as a commentator over the years, and you notice I'm sounding more energetic and much smoother. I'd say that's just a byproduct of being better at commentating, and also I think equipment has a little bit to do with that as well. Like right now I'm using a Rode Podcaster microphone, which is not by far not like the best microphone out there. Just about every commentator I know anyway probably has a better microphone than this, but it's $100-something microphone. It's a dynamic microphone. It's on a stand even. I like it, and yeah, it's a pretty good microphone. And I do a little bit of editing with the audio and stuff as well. So hopefully it turns out well. And I'm glad to hear that you've noticed a change from my early videos up until now, because that's the goal. The next and final question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, I was wondering, when you get sponsored videos, do they come to you or do you ask for them? I'm just wondering. Most people call people who do sponsors like you a sellout, but to me personally, I'm just super jealous because you're working with people like FanDuel and EA and etc. Ben from New Hampshire. So Ben, I'm sure you've noticed on YouTube, a lot of people do sponsored videos, and I do some as well, but just not very often. Now, it seems like I do them pretty often, so I've done 2 recently, one for FanDuel, which of course is a fantasy football website, as was EA, who is of course EA, and sometimes whenever they release a game, they will put out like a little thing for people in the EA Ronku program to do sponsored videos for them, where they pay us a little bit extra to make videos of certain games that they're just releasing to kind of build hype for the game, I suppose, is the reasoning behind it. But what I like about Ronku is you're not necessarily supposed to say anything anything great about the game. You're just supposed to say, you know, this is the title, like have the game clearly in the title, have a link to the website in the video description and stuff like that. You can give your honest opinions for it. Whereas other sponsored videos like FanDuel, I couldn't make a video saying, yeah, FanDuel is terrible. You know, if I thought FanDuel was terrible, I wouldn't make a video of it. It's just that simple. But the sponsored videos are of course different every time you do one. But I haven't done a lot of them. Most of my sponsored videos, honestly, are from EA. Like most of them, like every single year I do sponsored videos for Madden. I did a sponsored video for Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare when that came out, Battlefield Hardline when that came out, I think Battlefield 4, some of its DLC, things like that, mostly EA stuff. Truth be told, I don't do a lot of sponsored videos because I don't get them a lot. And if you ask, the whole point of the question is, do I go to them? Do they come to me? Like, how does that work from like a YouTube perspective? How a lot of it works for bigger YouTubers is they come to us, right? They usually come to the YouTubers saying, hey, you have this giant audience and I have this thing I want to sell. Would you be willing to promote my thing to your audience? That's how it works for a lot of people. It doesn't necessarily work that way for me because I don't have a giant audience. I do have a business email that I occasionally check, but mostly it's people asking for dual comms or people asking for to be on Chemstrike Saturday or DNA Saturday or things like that. Like I used to get a lot of it for Chemstrike Saturday, and a lot of it's like promote your Minecraft server and stuff like that. So it's just the stuff I'm not very interested in. It's mostly just other YouTube channels trying to get promotion. But if it's an actual company or a game and stuff like that, I'll generally take a look at it. But for the most part, I don't get approached a lot because I have a relatively small audience compared to a lot of other people out there. So for the most part, video sponsors come to YouTubers, but YouTubers can also go for that kind of a thing. If you go to the Scuff Gaming website, or if you go to like the G Fuel website, like there's a thing that you can go there, you can like apply for a sponsorship and stuff like that. And some people do it and they have success that way, maybe get some free stuff. But a lot of the time it's them coming to the YouTuber. So it definitely changes for every person. But from my experience, I just got into the EA Ronku program and I occasionally do sponsored videos for them, which definitely helps because the past 6, 7, 8 months have been just atrociously bad on YouTube. Like usually how YouTube works, like in terms of the revenue, is like it's picture like a radio station, picture it like a television station. Like there's advertisements at the beginning of the videos and at the end of the videos, and sometimes during the videos, depending on the length of it. Like usually there's a mid-roll ad for Dear Nero because it's such a long video. But we get paid off the advertisements that are, of course, in the video. But for whatever reason, the global ad market has been terrible for probably the past 9 months or so. Usually it's pretty bad in January, like right after Christmas, because nobody's trying to advertise anything. But it's legitimately just been awful every single month for the past 9 months. So a lot of us YouTubers, our paychecks have kind of been getting cut in half, which is definitely bad. Like we're getting the same amount of views, if not more than before. But we're just getting paid like half as much because the ads are all terrible. So you're definitely going to see a rise in sponsored videos. I'm sure you guys have noticed a rise in sponsored videos for a lot of channels, but I haven't really done a lot just because I don't have a lot of sponsors. But maybe I'll start actively pursuing them a little bit more if this continues. But then again, we are going into the fourth quarter, which of course is a fantastic time of the year for advertising because of Christmas and of course new Call of Duty game and just all the cool stuff that comes out in November and December. So we'll have to see. But yeah, that's kind of the long and the short, I suppose, of sponsored videos. And hopefully that answers a number of questions I'm sure a lot of you guys actually have regarding sponsored videos and YouTubers and things like that. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode of Dear Nero. I think that's a good way to cut it off here, just to end this whole thing off, because I have a lot of videos to edit and render for today. Lots of stuff for Nero's Let's Plays, and of course Dear Nero, and I want to get this up in a timely manner, so I think it'd be a good time to end off the video here. But I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of Dear Nero, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating where you guys feel to be deserves. And if you guys would like to submit your questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero, if you don't know how to do it by now, God help you, man. I've explained it in every single episode of Dear Nero. We're over 150 episodes in at this point. But if you want to do it, you just go to my YouTube channel, go to the About tab, and from there you'll find the Send a Message button. And from there, send your message. Just be sure to start your message with Dear Nero. That way, when I'm scrolling through all of my messages, I can easily identify the ones that were specifically sent for Dear Nero as compared to the other ones that may have been sent for some other things. Well, once again, guys, hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Remember to leave a rating. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.